Edgar family is a noble family with a territory of about 300,000 square kilometers and about a million subjects. He, a nobleman, has not only a luxurious castle and robes, but also a personal servant, a wonderful life instead of his past life. Leah called the master with a smile and said that the head wanted to discuss something with him. He should come with her. After that, the servant entered the office and told the master that his son had arrived. He allowed him to enter, and he left to convey his words. The protagonist entered the office and asked his father, did he call him? He said that he had no idea. He said that at his age, he could independently rule his territory. Has he already chosen where he would like to go? He approached the map and said that in the future his possessions would be in the northwest, although it is relatively safe. Due to the shortage of magicians, it is difficult to solve the food problem. Although their land is now under control, the future of the empire is not so rosy. He, with a serious expression on his face, thought that he was telling the truth. The royal family of the empire is in decline, but political corruption is flourishing. There are countless open and secret conflicts between the lords of the empires. After reincarnation, he became more indifferent to people, as he was before. He will never abandon them. The Aldarian looked at him and wondered if he was putting too much pressure on him. He called his name and said that he should remember that he always has them. MC, with a surprised expression, asked if the food problem is solved. Will security improve? He said that this problem cannot be solved simply like that. He thought that he still thinks like a child, who believes that problems can be solved with a snap. He thought that he relied not on passion, but on age-old wisdom. He told his father that he can leave it to him. He will solve this problem. After some time, he thought that Aisling is the westernmost part of the territory of the Grand Duke Aldarian, bordering the enemy lands of Duke Sorin to the north. To the west, the borders are the territory of the elves, and to the south lies the Endless Ocean. Due to its location at the intersection of three borders, Aisling often finds itself at the epicenter of wars. This has led to the fact that once fertile lands become barren, and the population rapidly declining. He was riding in a carriage and thought that the prerequisite for the Industrial Revolution was the required number of labor. A way to increase the population must be found. He is surprised by the fact that he has acquired new abilities. The system notified that the owner should use scanning on people, 6 out of 10 completed. He thought that with this, he could find out the statistics of the required person. After testing the skill on his family, he got a rough idea of the people in this world. It seems that his primary task is to attract talented people to the territory. Leah remembered that his father had previously told her that she should keep an eye on him and not allow him to do anything unnecessary. She agreed, and thought that she hoped that the young master would not get into trouble. Sometime later, in the mayor's mansion of the city of Essling, the mayor sat in front of the hooded man and said that he had heard that the Grand Duke's son would be arriving in the city today. They should make the first move, right? Rumor has it that not only the Grand Duke is attached to his son, but his brother and sister adore him. The man sat calmly in front of him and said that they should refrain from any action. They should wait for instructions. The mayor asked, however, what if he discovered his tax and financial fraud? He thought about it and said that it seemed that such a man would not look into such things. As soon as the young master arrived, they would confuse and distract him. He should arrive soon. They should go out and greet him. He thought that it was time for the Aldarian to pay his bills. At the same time, Rain got out of the carriage and thought with a slightly dissatisfied look that, as he had thought, the lands were desolate due to lack of strength. He called Leah and said that she should give him a map. He looked at it and thought that if they could deepen the river to the west and build a canal connecting it with the southern seaport, his attention was drawn to a girl who told her father that she asked him to stop gambling. He was losing all their money. They needed it for mom's treatment. The man, with a dissatisfied expression on his face, loudly said that she should give him the money. This time he would definitely win it back. He tried to snatch the wallet from her hands and said loudly that she should let go. It was none of her business. She continued to resist, refused, and said that her mother needed it more. He raised his hand, about to hit her, but before he could finish, the protagonist punched him in the face. However, because of this, his hand swelled, and he screamed in pain. Leah approached him and said that if he was going to hit someone, he should warn her next time. He said that it was emotional. That's how it happened. She should check on this girl's condition, and he would talk to this jerk. He approached him, and with a serious expression on his face asked, is he taking money from the family and wasting it? On top of that, he is also swinging at the daughter? Does he have no brains at all? He looked at him with a displeased look and asked who he even was. He came closer and said that it wasn't that important. If he saw him going to the casino again, he would order his head to be cut off. He understood that, right? The man, looking frightened, started to run away from him, loudly asked him not to do it, and said that he would not do it again. He turned around, and with a calm expression on his face asked, is she okay? He thought that he needed to check her status. The girl approached him and thanked him for his help. She wiped away her tears and said that if he took the money, she didn't know what she would do. MC saw the system window, which said that this was Lillian Eldry. Leadership 45 points, strength and magic 25 points, loyalty 50 points, strategy 55 points, special attribute, agriculture and harvesting. He looked at it and thought that her stats weren't particularly outstanding, but she had the skill he needed. He asked if she was going to the city to find a doctor for her mother, right? She could get into their carriage and they could ride together. She was surprised by what he heard and said that, however, she was so dirty and would stain his carriage. He said with a calm expression that these were just materials put together, nothing special. Besides, how could there be a casino in a place where poverty reigns? He thought that last fall, the Grand Duke of Sorin attacked the city. Many soldiers died. This spring, a severe flood occurred, destroying much of the land and crops. Life for the townspeople turned into hell. Everyone was struggling to make ends meet. They reached the city, walked down the street, and he thought he should conduct a census. First, he needed to go to the mayor's estate, Esling, to see how much money they could use for development. He turned around, called Lillian, and asked if she knew where the estate was. She was about to answer this question, but she didn't have time to finish, because the guy was riding a horse and loudly said that they should get out of the way. He called the residents unbaptized dogs and said that they should move away from here. Leah pulled Rain away and loudly told the master that he should be careful. They managed to dodge, and she looked at the galloping guy with a displeased look. She let him go and asked, "He is not injured, and everything is okay, right?" He thanked her with a calm expression and said that he was fine. He called Lillian and asked if she knew who it was. She said that it was the young master of the Eldrin family. All the casinos in the city belonged to them. He asked with a smile, "How rich are they?" She thought about the answer, and he thought with a smile, "That great. Now he understands where to get the money." He said that she should take them to the casino. She said that he shouldn't do that, because he would lose all the money there. He walked on and said that she shouldn't worry. He wouldn't be taken by someone like that. She looked at him and wondered how powerful this young gentleman was. After some time, they came to a casino, and the protagonist thought that it was time to develop the kingdom. He went inside and saw a lot of people gambling. He thought with a serious expression that as long as there were establishments, no one would work properly. Leah approached him and asked the gentleman if the casino was surrounded by guards. Was he sure about that? He went ahead and said that they would wait until the big fish bit. An employee approached him and asked if he wanted to play. He said with a smile that he didn't even know that. Is there something simple? He said that he should follow him. He was led to the gaming area, and another employee said that these 2 chips were on the house for him to try his luck. He took it, and with a calm expression, threw it on the place on the table, and the 2 employees looked at each other with smiles. He picked up a glass with 3 dice under it and said loudly that these were 4 sixes, a big one. The second employee said that it was a pity. He almost won. MC with a calm expression called it boring and asked, "Is that all? They should go." He was hungry. The employee stood in his way and said that they should wait. He could leave as soon as he paid the money he owed them. He looked at his hand and asked when he owed them. He said with a smirk that he had lent him these 2 chips and would have to pay back the money for it. He asked, "Isn't this a gift?" He called him sir and said that there was nothing free here. Each chip was worth 100 gold coins, but taking into account the service fee and interest, he owed him 250 coins. If he didn't take the money with him today, he should leave the maid as collateral. He was surprised that Lillian called him a liar and said that he should stop talking nonsense. He shouldn't believe him. Each token is worth 1 silver coin. He became very angry because of this and loudly asked how she even dared to interfere. They should deal with her. At that moment, he hit an employee very hard in the face, and he fell to the ground. He looked at him with a displeased look and asked what he just said. The players who were nearby immediately ran to collect the coins that fell from the table to the floor. He watched this from the side and thought how pathetic they were. The young lord of the Eldrin family came to them and loudly asked who dared to create chaos in his casino. Ryan looked at him and thought that now the bigger fish has bitten. He said with a serious expression that they should beat them so that they know their place. The employees began to carry out his order, and the people asked them to stop. He said loudly with a serious expression that they all had to behave appropriately, otherwise what happened would affect everyone. Lillian looked at what was happening with a frightened look and thought that it was all her fault. If she hadn't brought them here, nothing would have happened. She remembered that he hired a doctor to help her mother and thought that she should pay him back. She took a step forward and with a serious expression said that they had to stop. She would not allow them to deceive their superiors. The employees looked at her and thought, "Who the hell is this? She shouldn't have come out." Not a single person in the city who got into trouble with Vezerlo remained untouched. The casino owner turned to her with a displeased look and asked, "Is she talking to him?" She said that his casino is a scam and just a fraud. They have ruined so many families. She will not allow them to mock her friends. They are good people. He waved his hand and with a displeased face wished her death. She closed her eyes and waited for that blow to reach her. She opened her eyes and saw the protagonist stop his hand. He used his ability and the system notified that it was Vezerlo Eldrin, 23 years old. Leadership 46 points, strength 68 points, loyalty 5 points, magic 59 points, intelligence 52 points, special attribute, fury. He read this and thought that he should be careful with him. He looked at him with a serious expression and asked, "He has something against him, right?" He let go of his hand and said with a smirk that it was not so. He liked his methods. Only the strongest will survive in this world. However, he should know that winners are grinners. He asked with a smile. He dares to go against him? It seems he doesn't know who he's messing with, right? MC with a calm expression said that he doesn't need to. He He clapped his hands, and at that moment a crowd of guards entered the casino. He said that he had won, because his word is law. After some time, many nobles gathered in the hall and said that he hoped that the Lord would like his daughter. He heard that he had been able to earn more money lately, all thanks to the city board. Adrian thought, does he want to take the daughter away from the Duke? This is very naive. A girl approached him and said that she proposed a toast to him. He thanked her and thought that no one knew where Vezerlo had fled. If he was here, then they would be able to establish relations with the son of the Grand Duke, and this would give him some freedom of action. You should not trust this stupid lord. Rain entered the hall, and a servant loudly announced that His Highness from the Edgar family had arrived. Two men approached him and said that he was the head of the Raven family and brought him gifts. He was the head of the Roaster family and had brought his daughter to him. He said with a small smile that if everyone was gathered, they could begin. At that moment, several servants brought in a board with a diagram, and the people looked at it and wondered, what is this? Does it look like a diagram of a house? He pointed to the drawing and said that it was a drawing of a dam, drawn that afternoon. They would make sure that it would stand for a long time. They did not understand what it was and wondered, is it something for catching fish? He looked to the side and said that he would explain everything now. He called Leah and asked her to bring him a map. When the maps were hung on the board, he said that he had familiarized himself with the geographical location of the city. Every year, because of the river flowing north of the city, there is a severe flood. If they build a dam, they will stop the floods during the rainy seasons and will be able to irrigate crops during the drought. Adrian looked at this in surprise and thought that this was a really great idea, that life in the city would improve significantly. It seems the Duke's son is no simpleton. One of them asked what this had to do with them. The protagonist said with a slight smile that he needed money. They said that, however, they were poor themselves. Adrian thought he was smart, but too naive. These vampires could only extort money, not give it to anyone. He calmly stood in front of him and said that he had a good way to make money. This afternoon, he raided a casino and got 50,000 gold coins. Does anyone know where else there is a casino in the city? They were surprised by what they heard and thought, did he say a raid on a casino? Does that mean he won't get his share this month? He invested money there, after all. However, all the casinos in the city are managed by Mr. Adrian. It seems the young gentleman has gotten himself into trouble. Adrian thought he was a stupid guy. If he stood aside and kept silent, he wouldn't touch him. However, it was he who started this war. He approached him and told the gentleman that his actions violated the laws of the nation. The rest of the people said that he couldn't violate this because it was wrong. The casino was a legal business. He had no right to raid it just because he wanted to. That wasn't right. Adrian looked at him and thought that this guy was too naive. He shouldn't have expected anything from him. He calmly said that they pretended to be poor when he asked them to invest in his project. However, now, this is how they were talking. He would give them one last chance. Either they had to surrender on their own, or he would take over. The man asked if the Duke found out about his deeds. He wouldn't let it go, right? People supported him, but MC smiled and said that it was wonderful that they were talking about laws. He turned to the knights with a serious expression and said that they should detain them all. Two tied men were brought into the hall and sat on the floor. Adrian was a little worried when he saw this and wondered where these two were from. They were always near Vezerlo, right? He had a hunch about this, and he asked Master Adrian if he recognized these people. He asked,
got a new iPhone 17 Pro and Verizon picked up the tab on the best 5G network.
No way. Get the new iPhone 17 Pro and the new iPad and Apple One. All on us.
I mean, where else would I get it, right?
Brown's best. Velvet closeness and skin protection. Brown. Better by design.
Get 1 to 7 flexible days with Epic Day Pass. Ski and ride Vale, Whistler Blackcomb, Park City, Breck, Beaver Creek, and more world-class resorts. Save up to 65% versus lift tickets with Epic Day Pass.
At Kroger Pharmacy, we accept most insurance plans, so you can get flu, COVID, and RSV vaccines at no cost to you. No appointment needed. Get vaccinated to help protect yourself and those you love. Kroger Health, a world of care is in store.
Guess who has tons of the best toys and more? Like Zoom and Fast Hot Wheels and Legos galore. Guess who has Miss Rachel Tonys that sing? And the awesome Switch 2 with adventures to bring. Guess who has Barbies with dresses you make? And slime you can smush and ovens that bake. Now guess who has thrilling fun toys just for you? The answer is simple. It's Walmart. Who knew?
that he had never seen them before. But why was he asking? He said with a calm expression that nothing special, that they tried to kill him this afternoon. Earlier, they had spoken of a power that would allow them to block out the sky, and that someone had been covering them the whole time. Adrian began to worry about this, and he said that they should untie them so that they could see if the other guests recognized these faces. People became worried when they saw them and wondered, these are Vezerlo's followers, right? The The Lord said that they tried to kill him. Luck is clearly not on the Lord's side. The head of the Adrian family thought that if these two were allowed to speak out, the entire family would be destroyed. He grabbed a knife and loudly asked, "How dare they attack the son of the Grand Duke? They must pay for this with their lives." He struck several strong and swift blows and killed these two people. He said that he asks to be forgiven. He succumbed to emotion and asks to punish him if he deems it necessary. Rain patted him on the shoulder and said that he has a very strong sense of justice. He is a true Adrian. Not everyone would act like this. He said that he was so kind to him. He only did what was right. He turned around with a grin and said that then they should bring the main culprit here. They would see if there were any other people present capable of showing such courage. They brought Bezerlo, who loudly insulted the knights, demanded to be untied, and said that his father was a great nobleman and did not ask them for this. He would kill them all. His father looked at him with a surprised expression and thought, so they captured him? His son, with a displeased look, insulted him and asked how he dared to kill his servants. He would free himself and kill him, but first he would torture him. He himself would beg for a quick death. He listened to this with a grin and asked, did he want not only to kill, but also to torture? He agreed with a self-confident smile and said that no one was his equal in this city. He could consider himself already dead. He would not survive. The protagonist, with a joyful look, said that he had never seen someone so brave. He called Lord Adrian and asked, doesn't he think so? He called his father, laughed and said that his days were numbered. He didn't even know who was standing in front of him. He didn't have time to finish because his father said loudly that he should shut his mouth and kneel before him. He was confused by this and was about to ask something, but he walked up to him and made him kneel. He turned around, called the Lord, and said that his son was still young and stupid, and he was asking to spare him. He was ready to agree to any conditions. Besserlo, with a worried look, remembered how his father said that the Grand Duke's son would arrive tomorrow at dawn. They should be careful with him. He raised his head with a frightened look and asked, so he is the Grand Duke's son? He looked at him with a serious expression and asked where he thought he got so many guards from. He bowed, hitting his head on the floor, and said that he was asking him to have mercy. It was his fault. He made a mistake. Adrian, looking worried, told the Lord that he begged him to have mercy on behalf of his family. He looked at them with a calm expression and said that they should give to him everything they had illegally obtained over the years, and he would spare them. He thanked him for this and thought that he was able to save himself. He looked at the mayor and thought that he should inform him about this man. He called him and said that he had an important thing to tell him. The city lord was collaborating with outside forces, wanting to overthrow the Grand Duke. The people were surprised by this, looked at him and thought, does he want to overthrow the Duke? He was about to say something else, but the MC loudly insulted them and said that he was going to let them go. But they continued to slander others, excusing themselves. They should execute them immediately. The mayor, with a joyful smile, thought that everything was correct. He was not only stupid, but also impulsive. He bowed to him and said that they appreciated his actions. He swears he is completely loyal to him and the Grand Duke. He wouldn't even think of rebellion. He looked at him with a smile and said that he believed he wouldn't betray him. The system reported that this was Elderic Calgar, 38 years old. Leadership, 35 points. Strength, 48 points. Trust, 15 points. Magic, 66 points. Strategy, 68 points. Special attribute, greed. Sometime later, he sat in the study and thought that these nobles had earned more than 100,000 gold coins. This is the approximate amount of taxes in Aisling for 2 years. Leah called him and said that she had brought him black tea. He took the cup of tea and asked if she knew how well fed these nobles were. She asked what he was going to do about what Adrian had said. If the city lord was really planning a rebellion, he would be in danger. Rain told her to calm down, because he understood her concerns, but there was no need to rush. He's absolutely certain that Elderic is plotting a rebellion, but he just can't show all his cards right now. She looked at him and asked why he thought that. He stretched and said it was because he hadn't found out who was working for him in Aisling. He was vulnerable as long as his enemies were in the shadows. If he acted rashly, chaos would ensue. It was better for him to think he was just a naive and ignorant rich guy until he hit rock bottom. After a while, the old man, with an indignant expression, said that couldn't be true. That was just nonsense. Elderic told Guildmaster Malcolm that he should calm down. The young master was young and in a hurry to prove his worth to the Grand Duke. He said he didn't have to take his side. Even the Grand Duke showed them, wizards, respect when he spoke to them. He was looking at the Essling Water Conservation Project and thought that he was just wondering how to bribe the Wizards Guild. He brought this on himself. Malcolm started to leave and said that this was such impudence. He would talk to him. He was surprised by this, called him, and said that he should wait. He thought with a sly grin that the young master had insulted the Magic Guild. From now on, he would be alone in Essling. Sometime later, the protagonist was sitting in his office, drawing a plan, and thought that he needed to go back to the time when he only made engineering drawings and nothing more. Leah came to him and said with a smile that the master of the Wizards Guild wanted to meet him. He did not recognize this man and wondered who he was. They met, and Malcolm asked why he was insulting the Magic Guild like that. He asked with a puzzled look, what was he talking about? When did he insult the Wizards Guild? He showed a document that stated that the project does not accept proposals from individuals such as wizards, the physically disabled or the elderly. He said with a displeased look that he should stop feigning ignorance. He sent an acceptance letter. He read it with a calm look and said that he was building a dam. How is this an insult to the Wizards Guild? He said loudly that his recruitment letter clearly stated that he does not accept proposals from wizards. Obviously, this was a provocation towards the Wizards Guild. He felt embarrassed by this and thought, is this world that bad? Do even wizards do hard physical work here? Malcolm called out to him loudly and said that if he could not give him a comprehensive explanation, every wizard from the guild would refuse to work for him. MC looked at him and thought that the system should show him his statistics. A system window appeared in front of him, showing that he was 57 years old. Leadership, 78 points. Strength, 48 points. Magic and loyalty, 82 points. Strategy, 68 points. His special attribute is chasing ranks and being straightforward. He read this and thought that his loyalty wasn't low. It seemed someone had irritated him. He called him by name and said there was a misunderstanding. He didn't mean to disrespect the Wizards Guild. There were 3 reasons why he wasn't hiring wizards this time. First, mana was limited every day, and they might not make the deadline. Second, hiring a wizard was too expensive. For the same price, he could hire a dozen strong workers. Third, many wizards lived in comfort as members of the guild, while the citizens had no cash reserves. As the ruler of this land, he must pay them compensation. Malcolm said with a smile that, with all due respect, magic is the rule in this world. Those without magical talent deserve to stand below wizards. Rain said calmly that he was right, but he didn't like it. Starting with Aisling, he was going to make everyone understand that citizens are no different from wizards. There are no superiors or inferiors. He said with a serious expression that he suggested he take his words back if he didn't want to make them his enemies. He asked him to watch his tone. Leah held a dagger to his throat, and he said that otherwise his maid would resort to insulting the nobility by slitting his throat. He became worried about this, called him, and asked what kind of nonsense this was. He said with a cold grin that he hadn't spoken nonsense. Such a law existed. If he doesn't believe him, he'll have to force her to kill him, and they'll see what the court's decision will be. What does he think about this? He said with a frightened look that he asks to accept his apology and spare his life. The protagonist thought that even in such a situation, his loyalty to him has not fallen. He had no idea that he was being used. He's such a simpleton. He called her by name and said that she should let him go. The system notified that he had completed the beginner's quest. Use scanning abilities on people 10 times. A reward for completing the beginner's quest is available. A new quest is available. Obtain 5 heroes with high stats. New features are now available. He must remember to look at it. He looked at it and thought that he had finally completed.
Anyone want to join me for this? Just let me know.
Left the building, and Elderic asked the guild master how everything went. He said that not only had the master not listened to him, but he had also thrown him out the door. He was embarrassed by this and said that he had an idea. This would not only change the master's thinking, but also